India always had a strategic advantage against China, which is the Malacca Strait between Malaysia and Indonesia. This is the only thing China is afraid of India because of the Chinese straits happening through the Malacca Strait in the Indian Ocean. Malacca Strait, which is so much closer to the Indian territory to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Already, India has a military logistical pact with Indonesia in the Malacca Strait region. India has a huge advantage here, as the Indian Navy and the Airforce can block all the trades happening through the Malacca Strait. While talking to a podcast on July 5th, the renowned naval author Larry Bond said that China has a real concern that India could close the strait. If India wanted to cut off the trade between China, all that they have to do is to park bunch of ships the Straits of Malacca, and that's it. Nothing else is getting through that way. All of the imports and the exports to the China happens through the Malacca Straits, most of which are oil imports from the Persian Gulf, Venezuela and Africa. As India can wantedly blockade its routes during the intrusion or a serious battle against India and China. So China shifted its trade around the Indian Ocean through its Belt and Road Initiative. China is building new ports in Pakistan. With this port, China can import and export easily without India's blockade. But the Indian Air Force and the Indian Navy can take out the port and the trade route. So China has a third option, which it can import and export through the Arctic Circle from Europe to China through Russia, which is called the Polar Silk Road, which world countries are vastly using now. India can even hold the Chinese trades with its allies in the Arctic Circle route. Now India is also thinking to enter into the strategically important South China Sea. So what do you think of India's naval power and the Air Force can block Chinese whole trade in the Indian Ocean?
India and Russia on Tuesday sealed a USD of $500 million deal for a construction of 2 missile frigates in Goa for the Indian Navy, sending a clear signal of continuing with high-level defense collaborations notwithstanding the US warning of sanctions. The official said that the agreement for manufacturing of 2 Talwar-class warships was signed between the Defense PSU Goa Shipyard Limited and the Russia Strait and Defense Major Rosban Export under the government-to-government frameworks for defense cooperation. Under the deal, Russia will provide design, technology known and how to make it, and key materials to GSL for construction of the ships in India. The ships will be fitted with most advanced missiles and other weapon systems. We have finalized a USD of $500 million deal with Russia for the construction of 2 warships in Goa, said CMD of GSL Shekhar Mittal. He said the construction of the ships will begin in 2020 and the first one will be ready for induction in 2026, while the second one will be ready by 2027. The two sides already finalized another deal amounting about USD of $1 billion, under which Russia will be supplying 2 frigates to India by 2023. The Tuesday's agreement, or the last week agreement, came nearly 6 weeks after India signed an agreement with Russia to buy a batch of S-400 air defense systems of missiles at a cost of USD $5 billion. India is going ahead with mega defense deals with Russia, disregarding the warnings by the US of sanctions. The Trump administration has put several Russian firms under sanctions under countering America's adversaries through Sanction Act, or the CATS Act. The US said the countries engaged with Russia's defense firms may also face actions under CATS Act. India has been hoping to get a waiver from the US on the deals it was signing with Russia. Russia has been India's largest defense supplier, and also the defense and the security cooperation has been on the upswing between the two countries in the last few years. Yesterday, the Russian defense major Rosban Export emerged as the lowest bidder in the Indian Army tender for the procurement of a batch of short-range air defense missile system, said some officials from India. The other contenders for the deal were the Swedish firm Saab and French military firm MBDA. The size of the contract is likely to be around $3 billion. So what do you think of India-Russia finalized a USD 500 million deal even after the warning of US sanctions, and India and Russia are getting closer and buying arms and weapons and missile systems more than it's expected with more closer deals? In Washington, observing that the trade has been an area of frustration in the bilateral ties, the US has said that the door is open if India is prepared to bring serious proposals to the table to address the issues related to trade and the market access. The US in November last year revoked the duty-free concession on import of at least 50 Indian products, mostly from the handloom and agriculture sectors, reflecting the Trump administration's tough stand and the trade-related issues with New Delhi. A senior State Department official said on Friday that the US is proud to be India's largest export market and most important economic partner. Also, he said, "But we have struggled with regulatory issues that get in the way of ease of doing businesses in India and the market access for American companies and the products. The trade has frankly been an area of frustration in the relationship between the US and India. But the door is open if India is prepared to bring serious proposals to the table." Despite the intense engagement with the government of India after nearly a year, India did not assure the US that it would provide the equitable and reasonable access to its market, which led to its termination from the Generalized System of Preference program, said the official. A senior State Department official of US said, "While we are pleased at the growing US exports to India, the largely crude oil and the LNG led to 7.1% reductions in our bilateral goods trade deficit last year. The many structural challenges in our trade relationship has yet to be resolved." During the just concluded visit of a foreign secretary, while the focus was on strategic defense and relational and regional issues, in particular the Pakistan and Afghanistan, but the visiting diplomat is believed to have been conveyed that the ball is in India's court on resolving the trade-related issues. US is understood to have told India that the Trump administration is willing to review its decision to revoke its GSP privileges to India if New Delhi comes with a credible proposal to address the market access issues that America has been talking about for nearly a year. The GSP notification is still within the 60 days period, after which the benefit would formally be withdrawn. It is reliably learned that the US has told India that it's not too late, but it's unlikely to happen, given that India is now in an election campaign mode, officials said on both sides. While India argues that it is difficult to take any policy decision at this point of this time because of the elections and the Model Code of Conduct, America points out that it has decided to take its decision on revoking GSP privileges only after it exhausted all its options with India. During talks with India, America is believed to have said that there are creative ways of solving everything, all the trade-related issues that address concerns of both the countries. For instance, there are creative ways of certifying that the dairy products meet Indian standards, and have believed to have talked about the creative solutions to certifying vegetarian cows. Similarly, access to high-end cell phones or the smartphones or the mobile phones can be addressed in a way that does not open up the market to China. The United States, it is learned, had been extraordinarily clear since April last year on addressing certain market access issues, in the absence of which it's reportedly told India that it risked losing GSP privileges. The US still hopes that the issues can still be resolved before the election, and certainly after the election of India. So what do you think of US opening door for India if India brings good and formidable good proposals for US to bargain the GSP reduction and revoking it? Post your comments below, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and follow us on social networks and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.